Hey guys, Crochet and Connect here. I'm coming to you today on this very humid day with the July crochet patterns, and I'm also going to talk a little bit about the Christmas stocking. I tried to start crocheting last week for my daughter, and tried being the operative word. So I'll get to that in a minute, but first I'm going to get started with the patterns here. So June 30th, July 1st, and July 2nd is Unique Necklace. The 3rd and 4th is Patriotic Thinking of You Lapgan, of course. The 5th and 6th is part 2. The 7th, 8th, and 9th is Kitty Hat. The 10th and 11th is Flower Power Drawstring Tote. It's actually a pretty cute bag, considering crocheting that for my daughter when she gets a little older. She actually started swimming lessons recently, and I'd like to keep her in that as long as possible, because I'd like her to know how to swim properly at the very least. So this might actually make if I make it in cotton, it might actually be a pretty cute swim bag. So the 12th and 13th is part 2. And the 14th and 15th and 16th is part 3. The 17th and 18th is Lacy Goldfish Applique. The 19th and 20th is Vanilla Ice Sun Hat. 21st, 22nd, 23rd is part 2. 24th and 25th is Mary Jane Slippers, which I think are super cute. Might make those as well. The 26th and 27th is part 2. 28th, 29th, and 30th is Sequin Infinity Scarf. And the 31st is Sharing a Pattern with August 1st. So again, you'll see that next month. And the bonus pattern for July is Maryland Crab Ornament. And there's a part 2 here. You can see it a little more close up there. So that's all the patterns for July. Not terribly exciting, but interesting. So the stocking. I started crocheting last week. I would have started earlier, but I actually wasn't feeling well for most of July. I suddenly lost my voice for some reason at the beginning of July. I don't know why. And then for most of the rest of July, I had a sore throat and cough. I'm finally almost over the cough, and my throat doesn't hurt anymore, but I still have an occasional cough. But for most of July, I didn't want to crochet. I just wanted to nap while my daughter was napping. But last week, I was feeling well enough and had the itch to crochet, so I started work on my daughter's Christmas stocking. You might remember from a previous video, I said I was going to do this stocking here. It's on my laptop right now. I don't have a printer to print it off. So there it is there. That is on the website repeatcrafterme.com. I will put the link down below again. So I started, that stocking starts from the toe up, and it's crocheted all in one piece. So I started crocheting it with this Towers Sayal in white. Side note, I found this yarn at a thrift store several years ago. I'm pretty sure I showed it in a video a long time ago. I found a bag of 6 skeins of this, and I thought it might come in handy, so I had to buy it all. This Towers was a store that existed in Canada many years ago. It was a department store very similar to Target in the States, but it also had a craft department. If I recall correctly, Target does not have a craft department. It actually closed down around 1991. So this is some really old yarn. But it's working out fine anyways. So I started using this, and I'm going to be using some Red Heart in red for the hat and scarf. So I started it, and the pattern calls for an H hook. The woman who wrote the pattern says that her stitches always come out quite loose, so she used a smaller hook. And it calls for Bernat yarn. So I thought an H hook was sounded kind of small for worsted weight yarn, but I decided to go ahead and try with the H hook anyways. This pattern does not include a gauge or any finished dimensions of the stocking or anything. So I just went ahead and started with the H hook just to see how that would turn out. And I crocheted the number of stitches required to get to the heel, and it was not the size of a foot at all. I only had maybe like 3 inches of crochet done by the time I got to the heel, and it wasn't very wide either. If I kept going, it was going to end up being about the size of an adult foot in width. So like I was like, no, this is not going to work. So I ripped it all out, and then I started again with the J hook, and it still was hardly any bigger. I think I crochet really tight, so I don't know what I'm going to do, because if I go up another size in hook, then it's going to have a lot of gaps between the stitches, and obviously you don't want a lot of empty spaces in a stocking, because you want it to hold things. So I don't know what I'm going to do. I tried to start again. It starts with the magic ring, and you crochet a certain amount of half double crochet stitches into the magic ring. And so I tried to start by crocheting double the amount of called for stitches, but it's so hard to fit so many stitches into a magic ring, and it ends up kind of like wavy, and it wasn't working for me. So I don't know if I'm going to keep experimenting with this pattern, or just go with another pattern for the stocking body and then just use this pattern for the hat and scarf. I don't know. So I'm just going to keep fooling around with that, I guess, and see what I come up with. Hopefully I will have some good news about it in my next video. So yes, that's all I have to talk about today, crochet wise. I guess I will sign off now and maybe try to get some work done on this, perhaps. So yeah, so I hope everybody's been having a good summer so far, been keeping cool. It is so hot here, I can't even imagine what it's like south of the border. So I hope everybody's been keeping cool and having a good summer, and happy crafting.